And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is another patron roster review. This is Phi Gon Sharobi from 3720 to 1. 3720 to 1 is the guild, and that means they've climbed from the bottom to the top. Now they're to the top. Boom! Phi Gon Sharobi, I'm sorry. Awesome. You're doing really, really well. You do spend a little bit of money in the game, and you've been here since the very beginning. You've got yourself a Director Krennic and Death Trooper combo with Shore Trooper and a Thrawn combo, and then you've thrown in General Veers. Crazy, crazy. This is an amazing team. It's no wonder you're hitting #1 every day. Really what you said for your video is you like the Empire, and you really just wanted some tweaks for Arena, and then you just want to have fun. The heroic AAT teams that you just want to have fun heroic AAT teams. It's not all about having the most damage or I got 7 million. It's just about having fun. So when you put down that team, when you go through heroic AAT, you're having a good time. And I like that you just want that. So this is going to be a little quicker of a roster review. Essentially with your squad Arena, I wouldn't really do anything different. You've got great synergy for an Empire team. No team is defensible, meaning you can be beat. Every team can be beat. There is no team where you can find that right combo where you're going to just not be able to die. Your team that you have here, though, offensively is insanity, and I'm sure you have a lot of fun playing with it. But if you were going to tweak it, you could always take out General Veers and Director Krennic, because I feel like those are the two weakest links on this team. And you could put in Darth Nihilus and General Kenobi, both of which you have. You have a General Kenobi, which is your most powerful, and you also have Darth Nihilus at 6 stars in that second row. And so you have two other characters that are in your top 2 rows that you could easily plug and play in, and they could replace General Veers. With General Kenobi, you'll get a little bit more cleanse, and with Darth Nihilus added in, you'll actually have 2 characters that increase cooldowns, and so you're creating a double cooldown effect on the opponent where you're increasing the opponent's cooldowns twice over, both with Darth Nihilus and Death Trooper. So if you want to have a little bit more fun, prevent the other team from doing any other specials, and basically all they get to use is their basics, then I would use Death Trooper Darth Nihilus comboed under Thrawn with General Kenobi and Shore Trooper to keep them alive. The double tank combo works really well. Plus, General Kenobi and Shore Trooper both give crit hit immunity. So there is that. I definitely recommend you try that team out. You might find that you love it. Now let's move just really quick to those teams that you want that are fun for the heroic. All right, you've got an excellent team as far as it goes with everybody in here, but the one character you don't have really high to make this team really fun is actually Ima-Gun-Di. Ima-Gun-Di 7-star gear 9. You could use him in this raid, and also Ezra Bridgers at 6 stars. So those are 2 Jedi that are really, really fun to play in Phase 1 that you do not have leveled up very high. So if you're considering focusing on a new character to make this team more fun, I would first focus on Ima-Gun-Di as the leader, because he gives that counter chance to the entire team, which is really, really nice. And then, of course, have Aayla Secura underneath, General Kenobi underneath, Jedi Knight Anakin underneath, and Qui-Gon Jinn. You could eventually replace Qui-Gon Jinn or Aayla Secura with Ezra Bridger. Super fun team. I can easily get 600k all day, every day with that team. So if you want to have fun and still put in a ton of damage, 10% or so, that is definitely the route to go. For Phase 2, a really fun team I actually enjoy, instead of doing clones and things like that, is when I get a chance to do Phase 2, I enjoy a Darth Vader lead with Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Count Dooku, and then of course you can add another individual into this team that you prefer, like Boba Fett, someone like that. And what's happening is basically everybody's going to have AoEs except for Count Dooku. They're all you could put Darth Maul in there instead of Count Dooku. But what happens is you have all these characters who are going to do AoE damage to the tank, and it's going to topple relatively fast with ease. And they all are doing a lot of damage, and so it takes not a long time to topple the tank. Now, something else you could do is, if you were looking at what's the next Zeta for me, you actually could Zeta Finn. I know he's only gear 8, but you could Zeta Finn as your next Zeta. He'll actually be my next Zeta, so I'm going off of my own suggestions and recommendations. And you could make a resistance team. They can get 2 to 4 million pretty easily in Phase 2, so this would be a viable team. And you've got R2-D2, Rey, Poe, resistance, trooper, super, I mean, they're all 7 stars, so you're in it, most of them are gear 10 and above. So Finn and Poe are really necessary, and they're both gear 8, so you would have to focus some time on getting them up, and you'd have to Zeta Finn. But this is a 1 Zeta team. What I mean by that is you don't have to use R2-D2 in this setup, so you don't have to have those 2 Zetas, and Rey does not need her Zeta either. Really, to make Resistance great again, all you need is Finn and his Zeta, and then you just need to put them in and watch them work with all the expose that they put down and all the cooldown reductions that they get through Finn's leadership. It's absolutely amazing, and it is just a blast to play. I've played it without Finn's leadership ability, and it was super fun. I can't even imagine once I get Finn Zeta'd how much more fun it's going to be. So for fun teams, either a Darth Vader-led AoE team with dark side characters, or you could go Zeta Finn and do a Resistance team. Now for Phase 3, I would love to suggest Grand Admiral Thrawn in that team, but he is only 6 stars, so he's not going to be viable in there, and your Director Krennic's only 6 stars, so we've got to kind of work around that. I would recommend Chief Chirpa as your leader, Emperor Palpatine, since you have him gear 11, Royal Guard, the TIE Fighter Pilot, and Stormtrooper Han. Those characters are pretty standardized for the Phase 3 team. It's a fun team. When you can get the next round, Grand Admiral Thrawn, I don't know when, it may be 3, 4, 5, 6 months, who knows when, but when Grand Admiral Thrawn comes back around, get him that 7th star, and you will be able to use him in this Phase 3 team, and it makes Phase 3 a ton of fun, and you can do a couple million damage pretty easily, so you can more than double the damage output by this one character. He was built specifically for Phase 3 of the raids to help teams in Phase 3, because Phase 3 was one of the harder of the phases, so his ability on the fracture on raid bosses is awesome because it prevents the raid boss 30% less countering. They don't get the bonus turn meter, and it does, fracturing does speed them down. It doesn't stop them completely, but it speeds them down 50%, which just gives you that much more time. And the countering, which kills you, is reduced by 30%, so that's significant. So that's not what you're going to use now. You're going to go ahead and use the Emperor Palpatine under your Chief Chirpa with TIE Fighter Pilot, Shore Trooper, Royal Guard, Stormtrooper Han, things like that. You want to protect your team by using multiple tanks, and then you can use TIE Fighter if you want a little bit more damage, or you could take TIE Fighter out for a tank if you want a little more durability. So play with that. And lastly, Phase 4, just for fun team, I would recommend Wedge, Biggs, Lando. You can use Princess Leia and Han Solo. You can use any combination of these guys. You could even use R2-D2, but Wedge and Biggs and Lando are just really, really great. Admiral Akbar for a cleanse and a heal, and then Princess Leia you can use as well. And then lastly, I'll touch on it just because I see you working them. The clones are a ton of fun. It's a lot of work to get a clone team to do 6 million damage. There is definitely a process that you have to follow, and you have to have time to get them to do that damage. But you do have them all gear 7 or above and 7 stars, and so they're kind of, really close to being a great Phase 4 or Phase 2 team for you. And if you don't want to go the Zeta Finn route, you could always go Zeta Cody and go that route with your clones. You do have to get them up though to gear 10 at least to really make them viable to start getting a few million damage. You're going to have to get them up because of the durability of the team. You just need them at least to gear 10, and so you've got 4 of them you need to get up to gear 10. This would be a little bit of work, but if you're in it for the long haul, this would be a fun team, and it does give you that arena viability. And someday, who knows, they may add more clones. We know there's only 5 currently in the game, and if they ever do a faction pass on the clones, they'll be adding more clones and reworking some of these clones, and that would be pretty cool. So there you have it. Everyone watching, what are your thoughts? Phi Gon Sharobi, what can he do to have a little bit more fun in the heroic AAT and in arena? What little tweaks should he do? And do you agree or disagree with the teams that I suggested? Leave your comments down below. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.